Hey y'all, my name is Michaela and this is Life's a MiniStory Part 2. This is like my 5th time recording this video, but here we are. So, as you can see from the title of the video, we are talking about how God blessed me indeed, okay? With this apartment, with a job, and with a lot of different things. So, let's just start from the beginning. I was living at home with my parents in the great state of Texas, which I really love Texas. You know, that's my home. Wasn't born there, but that's where my family is. So yeah, in the great state of Texas, I was living with my parents, and I had to move back in for, different reasons. And they were, super good to me. Those are my parents. I love them. Shout out to them. So I was feeling, I think I had stayed with them for maybe like a year and a half. And I was feeling like it was time for me to go. I was feeling like I was just ready to have my own thing, have my own place. I wanted a different, pace. I don't know how to explain it. I just needed something different. I wanted something different. I was working a job. It was okay, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. But it's what I did. I was working, and so I was good. So I remember, I want to say around this time last year, I had been praying because I just wanted something different. And I know prayer definitely changes things. Prayer, puts things, lets God, well, God already knows what we want. He already knows what we need, but it really just, when we ask our Father for things, it's like, okay, my child is coming to me, she's asking me for something. So, if he wanted me to have this, move out and have my own place, I didn't really care. I didn't really care where I went. I just knew that I wanted to get out and just have my own thing. So I just had been praying. And so I was just like listening, talking to God about places that I wouldn't mind going. It is so funny. Just listing places that I just felt like, I could go there. That would be nice. But everywhere I would bring up to my mom would be like, but you don't have family there. I don't want you out there by yourself. And so I would go back to God and be like, well, she's right. I don't need to be just going anywhere by myself. And so I remember praying again one night. And I think I had prayed for a week straight, just really because I'm like, Lord, I need you to really hear me. I'm ready to go. And I remember God saying, go back to Arkansas. And I was like, go back to Arkansas? Hold on. Go back to Arkansas? So Arkansas, I went to college here, and I have a lot of my family here in Arkansas. And I was like, go back to Arkansas. I remember telling God specifically when I graduated from college, I was like, I'm not coming back here. I don't really want to be here. I'm not coming back. And so when God was like, come back to Arkansas, I was like, I wasn't tripping, but I was just like, maybe I didn't hear him right. It's so funny because God's like, nah, girl, you heard me. So I prayed again, and he kept saying it. He just kept saying it. And so I was like, okay, go back to Arkansas. And I was like, go to Arkansas and do what? What am I supposed to do out there? And so I was looking for jobs out, in Arkansas that I was already doing, in Texas, but I couldn't really find anything that was really good. And so I don't know, God just led me to go to, look for a school and maybe work at a school. And so I applied to be a teacher's assistant, a paraprofessional, and I'm stuck. Yeah, so God helped me to, he led me to apply for some jobs with the school district. And so I just started applying for different school districts, and I found a school and I applied, and within a couple hours I got a response. And the next day I interviewed, and she was like, I really want you to be a teacher because you meet all the requirements to be a teacher. You sure you don't want to be a teacher? And I said, well, I never really thought about it, but I kind of wanted to, be a teacher's assistant first and then see how I felt about being a teacher. And she said, well, I could put you on an emergency, license, and you can just be a teacher, and, we'll make sure you got the training and all the extra stuff. So I was like, oh, wow, okay. And so she's like, you have a bachelor's degree? And I was like, yes. And she's like, okay, so I'm just going to need that, your transcripts and all that stuff. And I was like, Well, I owe my school money, and I would have to pay that off. And so she was like, okay. She said, we still have a little bit of time. Try to get that paid off. But she said, I'm definitely putting your name down because I really believe that, she's like, I really want to help you. She said something very special, like something that really stuck with me. She's like, I really want to help. I want to be the person to help bring you into, you know, your next season, like to push you further into your season. And, you know, at the time I really didn't think nothing of it, but it's just like, wow, like her giving me that opportunity, like pushed me way more than I ever expected. Like she really gave me a chance and she did not have to. So I was very grateful for that. And so anyways, I remember like talking to my parents because, you know, I was like, I'm gonna need some help, you know, getting here. And so, you know, I think everybody was a little confused. They were like, what you mean? Like, what are you talking about? Because the one thing about me is when I get an idea or when I hear from God, it's like, all right, it's time to move. Like, I'm just like, okay, it's time to move, because I'm like, I know I'm not crazy. I know that I didn't just think of this stuff by myself, because if it was up to me, I would not be coming back to Arkansas. Like, I would not have did that. But that's how I knew it was God. And so I was like, okay. So I talked to my parents about it, and my mom was like, oh, cool. Like, that's good. My dad was like, okay, you know, okay, let's see. And so they ended up, you know, contacting me and getting all this stuff. And so long story short, to make a long story short, my parents ended up helping me pay my school off so I can get my transcripts, and I was able to like get my official offer letter. And so I went from making, I wanted to say like $17-18 an hour to like making $50,000. Like just like that, because I don't know, God is good. When God blesses, he blesses. And so he was good. So I ended up signing my contract, and I was able to become a teacher. And so even before all of that, I knew that I had to get to Arkansas, and I didn't have money like that. I think I only had, like, at the time, like we were looking at everything, I only had like 200, almost 300 something dollars. And I was like, okay, so where I'm gonna live, where I'm gonna do all this extra stuff. And so I think my dad may have mentioned it, or I don't know what happened, but my dad was like, call your uncle that lives there and see if you can stay with him for, you know, until you're able to get a place. And so I called my uncle, rest in peace to my uncle Jesse. I called him, and he's like, let me talk to my wife and I'll get back to you. And I think like a few hours later, he was like, go ahead and put my address down as your place of residence, you know, until you're able to find a place. And he was like, we'll talk more about it. And so I was so happy for that. So I knew I had a place, you know, to go, but still I'm like, how am I gonna get there? So I remember, I think the following week we ended up going to our family reunion, and I was telling like everybody that lived in Arkansas, because, you know, all of our Arkansas family came down, and I was telling them, and when I tell you that everybody was just like offering help and like, oh, you can do this, and we can help you here. Let us know if you need this. Let us know if you need that. And everything just started working. So I just knew that, you know, when it's of God, I just feel like it's just no, like, there's no, it just flows right. Everything just flows right, and everything just flowed together. But, so I went there, and everybody was super, super encouraging. And so I ended up going back home after the family reunion, and my parents ended up going out of town. So I'm like, you know, by myself. And this is where I always feel like the enemy tries to get you. Whenever God is trying to bring you into something, the enemy is right there. It's like here, it's like the door is right there, and it's like the enemy standing outside the door trying to, you know, just scare you so that you won't even walk into the door that God has provided for you. So when I tell you, like, doubt and fear just really started to come up, you know, up against me, I feel like the enemy was like using people that was close to me to, like, you know, try to change my mind and everything. But thank God for my best friend. She was like, Michaela, I really feel like if you do not take this opportunity, God is not going to give you this opportunity again. And she said, I really feel like you will end up regretting it. And she's like, as scary as it is, as much as you don't know, because I was really nervous. I'm like, I've never been a teacher. Like, I don't know what to expect. And I didn't have like all the training, but it ended up working. But anyway, she was like encouraging me, saying, Michaela, like, I really believe that you should go. Like, you should do this. Don't worry about what you don't have. Like, God is going to provide it for you. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. Like, I was so nervous. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what to expect. And everything worked out. So I want to say the day before I ended up leaving, because at the time I only had like two something in my account, and I figured like I would be able to make it with that. I just, it's gonna be tight because I'm going to my uncle's house, and I knew that they were gonna help me out and everything, so I was gonna be fine. But I ended up going out to breakfast with a really close family friend, some family friends, and they blessed me with like $200 extra on my journey. And they also told me that I should document my experience, which I didn't end up documenting it, but they also was like, you should really like start a YouTube channel. And it's so crazy now that I'm like on YouTube again, but it's the little things that people say and people do that I don't think that, of course, they don't realize it, but I think that's why God always tells me to write stuff down, because everything happens for a reason. Every conversation that you have with people, it happens for a reason. Like every encounter you have, it happens for a reason. And I'm talking about good or bad, like it happens for a reason. Either it's going to take you further into the journey that God has for you, or it's going to throw you off course. So you have to be mindful and always be in prayer of who you're around and who's talking to you, because everybody doesn't always have the best intentions for you. So you always have to be aware, and thank God, like everybody that was around me was really like encouraging me. So most of like the attacks from the enemy was like coming through my own mind and my own thoughts and my own doubts about who I was. But thank God for people that continuously encouraged me throughout the journey. Even when I got here and was just like, Michaela, you got this, you can do this, you're doing well, like we're proud of you. Like everybody was just saying that they were so proud of me. And sometimes I feel like for me, I downplay my accomplishments because I'm like, I don't really feel like I did anything. But that's the truth. I didn't do anything. It was all God. God made a way for me to be able to come to Arkansas, get a really good job, making really good money. And then a couple months later, I ended up getting my apartment. And the crazy part is the apartment that I got was the exact apartment that me and my dad looked at when I first told him that I wanted to come to Arkansas. And we looked at it, and he was like, this is the one that you should get. And that's the exact one that I got, the same exact one that I got. So I do have a little bit of footage of me like doing a tour when I first came. All right, guys. So this is my front door starting here. So mind that. That's the trash, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to turn around, and this is like a little full view of my kitchen. Y'all, love. It's so cute. It's like the perfect size. So yes, this is my refrigerator. Nice little size, little kitchen. It comes with a microwave and of course the stove, oven. Comes with a dishwasher and all that stuff. So this is my living room. It's all my little stuff. By the way, this is a studio apartment, so it's like one big room. So yes, this is like my living room area. Eventually, I'm gonna have some furniture back there. I'm gonna get some bar stools right here. And then we're gonna go from there. I'm gonna get like a little TV stand and kind of put my TV right here. I don't like that they put that there because I could like mount my TV, but whatever, it's fine. So in here, I think I'm gonna have like my desk / YouTube area. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I have a really nice view. I'm not gonna show too much, but I have a really nice view. And then this is like my bedroom. It's an air mattress. And this is my little ghetto TV setup. It's sitting on like a little, what's it called? Like a storage box. It's real ghetto, but you know, when you first move in, you just gotta do what you gotta do. So yes, this is my closet that we're not gonna go into because it's a hot mess and I'm not about to, do that to you guys. This is my laundry. It comes with a washer and dryer. Love that for me. And then this is my bathroom. Once again, I'm not gonna show too much because it's my bathroom and y'all need to know all that. I'm just so grateful because I remember my first apartment, I struggled so bad. Like I was paycheck to paycheck, barely making actually my rent would be due before I got paid, and so I was always like 2 or 3 days late on my rent. And I remember like always coming home with the eviction notice on my door saying that I needed to pay in a certain amount of time or I was going to be evicted. I also remember when they threatened to turn off my lights, but thank God nothing like that ever happened. It's just so crazy to me because the first experience of me living in my first apartment to this experience is totally different, and God has really showed. I mean, even in my first apartment, he definitely showed that he was blessing me because I never went without. I always had food, I always had water. I might not have the things that I wanted, but I always had what I needed. And I never went, a day without lights. I always had, my place, my car. I remember going to work with my light on, because my gas tank, it would be on E and the light would be on, and remember like just praying that I would make it. Like for 2 days my light would be on, and I feel like I just lived like just enough distance away from my job that I could make it there and back without any problems. So God really has shown to be faithful in this season for me, and even in the season that he's taken me in. And I think this video is more so for me to talk out loud what God has blessed me with, but also hoping that it can bless somebody else. That God, he is amazing, and he definitely takes care of his children. And I remember even before I left Texas, God was telling me, your faith is going to be the only way that you make it, because he was like, where I'm taking you, he's like, we can't, it's basically God was maturing me. He's like, this experience, this season is going to mature your faith. It's going to grow your faith even stronger in me. So you really need to make sure that you're praying to me, and make sure that you're reading your Bible. Like, he's like, you're not going to make it on the bare minimum that you have been giving me. Like, God really called me out, like, the bare minimum that you have been giving me in this next season, it's not going to work. You're going to have more faith. You're going to have to pray more. And when I tell you, the spiritual warfare that came against me, even like after God blessed me, because I feel like we live most of our life in the valley. We have our mountaintop experiences, but we definitely have a lot of time in the valley. So if you know the scripture, like, in the valley of the shadow of death, like, God's always with you in the valley. Anyway, so yes, God blessed me with that. He blessed me with a job. He blessed me with money to even get here. He blessed me my family to even help me to be able to stay with them, and just everything that worked out. And just because I just went in prayer. But also the crazy part is sometimes we think that God gives us stuff because we ask for it, which he does. But also God gives us stuff because it's on the path of the purpose that he has for us. So I feel like God's always going to bless you, and God's also always going to put you in the path that leads exactly to where he wants you. So sometimes when we don't get things, it's not because God doesn't want us to have it necessarily. It might be because it's not what's going to lead you to him. Like, everything that God gives is always going to lead back to him. That's what he wants. He wants everything to lead back to him. So that's why we have to make sure that we're praying that with our prayers, that what we ask is aligned with what God has for us too. Because when our desires align with what God has for us, then God's like, okay, yeah, let's make that work. But when our desires or our prayers are not aligned with what he has, he will redirect you if you allow him to. The season that I'm in right now, like I said, God's always going to make sure whatever you go through leads back to him. So in the season that I am in right now, God is allowing things to happen so that I can come to him more, because that's what he wants. He wants his children to be with him. Not to say that he's trying to punish us, and he's not doing that. It's always in love, because the way that God has been speaking to me has just been so much love and so much encouragement, and just putting people in my path so that I can win. It's crazy. Like, God always wants us to win. He wants us to have the best. So he's aligning things in my life. He's putting people in my life to push me further, closer to him. And I'm really grateful for that. And I'm going to get out y'all way. So I hope that this blessed somebody. I hope it wasn't too much all over the place. If it was, I do apologize. But anyways, guys, y'all have a blessed day. I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys for all the support that you have been giving me as I am on this journey of being obedient to what God has told me to do. So y'all be blessed. Bye.